Hell yeah.
Hello and welcome. This is the MNM podcast. Rebooted, revitalized, reinvigorated. We are older, we're younger in spirit, we are virile young 20-year-olds with life experience. You might be
Virile.
wondering what we've been doing for the past couple of years. Joe has been in the Marinina Trench looking at coral reef. Cameron has been trying to figure out ethical lobotomies, and I have been battling demons and angels. So how are we doing, boys?
The lobotomies aren't going well. But I'm good, I guess. How's the Marianas Trench or the Marina Trench or wherever you were, Joe?
Look, man, as a professional reef man, they're not doing too great, okay?
Reefer Joe's up, so that's what his name is.
Reefer,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what they call me. They do call me
Yeah.
that.
Reefer by name, Reefer by business.
Reefer in spirit and Reefer in practice.
I'm a virile reaper, as Bryn told me.
Whoa, Reaper?
Oh, hello. I don't see a bit there.
Whoa! Steady on there, bro.
How have you been, Bryn?
I've been well. I've been dandy.
You've got the most presents. You've been making films.
I've been making films. I've been in universities. I've been in España, Madrid, que habla. Me. Yes, I've been good.
That's
Say
good.
something in Spanish.
Yeah, what'd you learn?
Yo hablo española es muy mal. Yo quiero
Sí.
hamburguesa con queso. Por favor, mi amigo.
Like,
What
queso
did you
means
say?
cheese. Queso means cheese.
Queso is cheese.
I want a hamburger with cheese, please.
Yes!
Very good. I found out quesadilla meant like cheese deer. And I was like, oh, nice. That means lots of cheese.
It
No, I
means
haven't.
cheese deer.
Yeah.
Deer is just deer.
No, what is it?
Yeah.
Ito is a small, isn't it?
Uh,
And Ia is a big.
yes, pequesita isn't a word.
So a
Um,
quesadilla is just a big cheese.
Was it Senorita? No. Chiquitita? Like the
Chiquitita.
ABBA song? That
Yeah.
means small chick.
Yeah,
think-
it's feminine,
get it.
isn't it?
I could have got
Ito-
that.
Ito is masculine, Ita is feminine.
That's
That's-
what it's Frankie DeVito is Mr. Small D.
Small. Who?
Small-
Wait, Frankie
What?
DeVito.
Oh, sorry, Danny DeVito.
Okay.
What is Frank?
So what's Frankie DeVito mean?
The brain rot has come in.
Yeah,
Cameron
we're older,
said
but-
that is lobotomy on me earlier on.
Short form content has taken over all of us. I mean, Joe was already too far gone, but now,
Joe's lobotomy had no effect at all.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
but all
actually
the salt
improved.
water, all the salt water going
Yeah,
into the hole.
12 years of reefer.
Yeah, 12 years
Yeah.
of reefer has effects on it. It's been about nearly 5 years, by the way, guys, since the first episode.
Yeah, gee.
I don't think any news has happened since then.
Nothing's happened. There's not
No.
been. I mean, we started before COVID happened, and then it happened like a couple weeks after. Since then, nothing's happened. I mean, there was a few presidential elections. They don't matter. I think the
A
Queen
couple,
died, but
yeah,
that just
one
happened.
of 'em.
And, you know, a few wars, a few genocides, but apart from that, I think it's been dandy.
Instead,
The Queen's dead. Yeah, sorry to break that to you. She died before she could watch Black Adam.
Yeah, much to
Well, she was
Wayne
holding on.
Johnson.
I mean,
sugar
Jimmy
in.
Carter is still about to watch if Black Adam gets its sequel, if Super Pets, League of Super Pets gets a sequel, but
I
Yeah, the
thought the
Queen didn't
hierarchy
make
was
it.
about to change.
we're still waiting on the change, but it is happening. He
The
promised
hierarchy
us.
was the Queen to King Charles.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he didn't promise which hierarchy. Oh, he did the DC. Ignore that bit.
Yeah, DC,
He was almost right.
demonstrable crown.
The Cromonarchy.
Demonic.
The crown.
Demonic cronies.
Yes, the crown.
The
The
crown.
crown
The monarchy.
hierarchy about to change.
The monarchy, but the monarchy's it's the C from monarchy.
That's what we should rename the podcast as. Demonarchy.
Yeah, Bryn wants to rename the podcast,
the
but then we've
first
got
episode.
nothing to our name. I
It's
don't know
Yeah,
what we're
so-
calling this one. M&M
We
episode
might do
1, 2.
M&M
it's
Reborn.
two. It's I might do like a green line underneath it and then put an R at the beginning. So
Yeah,
R
if we
and
just change news to green, that'll fix
No.
everything, I think.
Make the
No.
title minimalist instead. That's
no,
how
I
people
like
always
the
do it.
neons.
What's more minimal than 3 letters?
One.
We can do one
M.
lesson.
Then it stands for movies and music, and news is just like
Maybe
okay,
news. And maybe two.
So
It's
we
the
add an
M podcast.
extra. It's the MNM podcast. It's movies, no music, maybe news and movies.
Moxie. No. What's the thing we like to talk about? We like to talk about the
Well, I
news.
don't know. This is a whole. We are 5 years older, basically.
Yeah.
I think I agree with Joe's point that he's doing rudely before pre-bantered recording.
Rudely.
Pre-recorded banter.
I do understand the bleakness of the news in the middle, but I think the joy of the M&M podcast is it's a shit sandwich. It's
At
Yeah.
least there's some bread either side of it.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's
Joe, if we didn't have the news, we wouldn't have had his crowning achievement of describing Brexit as a person killing themselves, which was biting and witty and very insightful. It
It was
really
a
helped
fresh
us as a
take.
country, and we've healed since then.
It was a fresh take on an old classic.
Yeah,
I think that's what got Kieran.
we got Kieran 5 years ago.
It's been 5 years of here, guys.
Domino
Yeah.
effects, butterfly effects.
So we have been talking about bringing M&M back for a little while, but we've been elusive. We've all been very busy, but we're back, and we're here to stay? Question mark. We're for like
We're here-
3 episodes, and
we're
then
here
we'll
to stay,
disappear
exclamation
again.
Mark point.
Yeah. What?
Guest stars,
Yeah.
themed episodes, merchandise,
Illegal raffles.
Fortnite
Yeah.
skins.
Fortnite.
Fortnite. We're the next festival pass. Spoilers, guys. Us 3.
Yeah.
And we have the Craig backblend. Craig
Well, we have Craig
backblend.
as well.
You can
Do we
use
wanna-
the TikTok chicken for a glider.
What's the TikTok chicken?
What? Yeah. Huh?
You remember that TikTok chicken?
We
TikTok
don't.
touch up. TikTok touch up. Mother
Oh,
mother.
touch up. Oh, TikTok. Oh yeah. Wait, it's called touch up, isn't it?
Wait, what's
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
that?
Yeah, what is it? The
What?
TikTok chicken. I get there's a song called TikTok.
Because Joe would always say it's the TikTok touch up chicken.
This is why we need a reboot because there's so much lore. No one knows who Craig is for a start. Craig's who we're recording with. He's just a bot on
We
Discord.
should call it the Craig podcast.
I think we could get sued by Craig.
Yeah.
He's here to help right now, but if we could exploit him,
We should.
we shouldn't.
do a poll.
We can do a poll. I mean, I can get the community thing working on the M&M channel because I've taken over that. Oh, we have a new editor, by the way, because our old
Yeah.
editor killed us before. He didn't edit an episode, and he was also the guest on the 4th episode. So that's why it never happened. We're not to
Yeah.
blame.
I will not have. I will not have. What's it called? Not
Slander.
slander. No, well, I guess he didn't. He did all those things.
He did all those things, but it's a fresh start. We don't hold grudges.
Except
Wait.
for that one.
We had that grudge before he'd even edited an episode.
Look,
We were
the
telling him what
two-
to do.
The two founding philosophies of this podcast is live, laugh, love, and we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, that is important.
We're so back. Yes.
Yeah. Do we need to go over the premise? I mean, we should probably say what we're covering.
So the premise is M&M. It's movie, music. Movie.
Yep.
Sorry.
Other way around.
Sorry.
Music, music.
Okay.
What was that, Bryn?
I think the brain has. I'm just hitting early. I'm running on some sleep.
The what?
The Brainiasm.
Brain
That's
gasm.
his villain name.
It's me, Braingasm. Movies, music, news, music. Movies,
Yeah.
movies, news, music, and it's us. So we each get a section each, and then in rotation of each week, we get a new round to dictate the round for which we speak. I.e., Bryn recommends, Cameron recommends the next week. That's a bad example because I don't know if that's the order we're doing things.
I think we'll just do it what we did last time. So you're going to pick an album, and I'm going to pick a movie.
And
And
I'm
I
going to pick
think-
news.
You're going to pick news. You don't have to pick anything for the news, by the way. It happens. It's
Yeah.
It's improvised.
Something's going to happen to King Charles next week.
Yeah, Christmas is coming up. It's not a good time for him.
It's
It'll be
quite
cold. Yeah, they took away the heating allowance, so now he's frozen. He needed that. You know how many rooms they've got? They can only heat one this year.
When are they
It's
doing
not the
King
one he's
Charles as
in.
a Fortnite skin?
What?
When are they doing King Charles as a Fortnite skin?
When he dies, it'll be like Juice WRLD.
That would
Yeah.
be so much more terrifying. Just
He'll
having
be
to look
looking
out
over the map.
the fucking corner.
Oh, you know what? That if I'm on news next week, my news is going to be.
You're not. You're not.
I am.
Just established that.
through
Are
this.
we doing reverse order?
No, we're doing the same order as last
No,
time.
we'll just do it. We'll just do it as we did last time. It's less confusing.
Okay, clarify it to me whilst we're not recording.
But it's too late.
We
we
already
can cover
have
it again at the
clarified.
end of the episode. We did this before. Now it's in.
Bruno's going to articulate what we're watching, what we're talking about today. So we're talking about Joker 2, Folie, Didgeridoo. That for movie. We're talking about Trump and Hillary's election.
Trump and
news.
Hillary.
Hillary.
Hold on
Hillary.
a moment.
Wait, we're still not in 2020. We're not in 2020 still, Bryn.
4 years before that.
It's Kamala. It was Kamala / Biden / Kamala again /
We should
Biden.
make the end nostalgia in MNM.
No. What?
No, let's just carry on as
Let's
we
just
are
do
doing.
news. Let's not change the thing
Cool.
until we've got a few under our belt.
We are in the midst of recording the first episode.
Look, it's a reboot. It's live. They can mold it with
This
us.
is live,
Like,
guys.
like,
Remember to post your questions now and we'll respond.
yeah, and then music is Damn 2, i.e. GNX.
Yeah,
by
GNX.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar, yeah.
Yes, please. So is that all the chit chatter done?
I believe.
You want to get into the belly of the beast?
Yeah,
Yes,
so
it is.
we'll start with Joe's subject, which
Wait,
is...
Let's just have a little musical number.
Oh dear. Can't we save the musical number for the musical?
No, we're doing a pause and then it will happen.
Oh, we'll do a musical number for everything.
Just like
Just a jingle, just go da da da.
you
Well, I
could
can
just
just
like
do that in the
cut
edit.
at this point. Yeah,
Exactly,
You're,
that's
not,
what
you're
I'm
leaving this in because this is gold, but...
Yeah. I'm just saying. Great, that'll be the pause. This will be the section. Great.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah. And then now we go to Joe with the muse.
with the news.
The
I
muse.
see what's happened.
The
You
muse.
have in the overall. You switched musics with movies.
It was
I've
always
not switched them. It was always like this.
music
but
always came
we-
first.
Yeah, we
Oh.
dished them out weirdly.
Okay. For a little bit of context for our audio listeners as well as our limited visual listeners, I'm talking to you, Craig. When we first thought about doing, well, not when we first thought about doing this reunion, we were like, okay, since we're doing Joker 2, we may as well just do Damn as well. Just redo the first episode.
Because we
And then
did
like
really not understand it. Yeah, I mean, we liked it. I didn't listen to
Yeah.
Kendrick, Bryn. This was like early on in our youth. We were foolish children, so we thought we could redo it. And then a few hours after we had this discussion about covering Damn again, something happened.
yes, a few hours later, Kendrick Lamar dropped GNX, which is his most recent album. Came out on Friday. Beautiful stuff.
GNX.
I think GNX. Yes,
Yeah.
I think.
It stands for news.
He's understood this album, I think. He's bang on.
I'm trying to get up the video that we. So I think our main notes that we were going to do for Damn were from a video on a deep dive of Damn, where we, figured out more than we knew when we first made the video. However, that got all thrown to the side when GNX came out.
Yeah, we can't talk about the film, the song Pride, which has Lust, which has a reference to Donald Trump. Can't
Yes,
talk about that.
Very fitting. It would have, but it's still, it is what it is. GNX.
It's better, even.
It's GNX for me. I know that you hear a lot of things on Instagram and online about it, but I think it's not his best, but it's good. It's really good. It's a weird place because what I think, at least, is that it's difficult to kind of predict where Kendrick is going to go with each album. And a lot of people try and guess who the features are or what the kind of style is, and almost always they get it wrong. Because they always think that it's going to be similar to the previous ones. You're going to get your Baby Keem features, you're going to get Thundercat on his bass, you're going to get all that type of shit. But then he just comes out of the blue with something completely different each time, and it's like, oh shit, okay, we're doing something new now.
Yeah, that Weird Al feature really blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a whole parody album, which I didn't expect. But
Weird Al was it was a duo album. It's so strange.
their voices sync so beautifully. Scissor Who. I mean, I get.
The fact Weird Al
I guess.
experienced so much better than Kendrick was the most surprising part.
Yeah, it's really a Weird Al album.
He
And
wrapped
Kendrick was on it a
circles
couple.
around him.
But yeah, he did. He did. They Don't Like Christ.
That's
Sorry, that's
red, though.
a trigger word. I shouldn't have said that. Makes him cry. But I guess a good place to start because
What They Don't Like Us?
I started listening to Kendrick because of this podcast, because of Damn. Listening to it the first time, I didn't really vibe with it, but I progressively liked it a bit more, and now I'm sort of faltering on it a little. It's fine. It's a really good album, but it's not one I'd return to, and especially since listening to Mr. Morale and Section 80. All the rest of his discography is a lot more what I'd go to. But now I listen to, he's like my most listened to artist.
Yeah.
But Bryn, you're still outside the bubble. So what's your take on
pipeline.
this new album? Because you wouldn't listen to it normally, I'd assume.
What would you say is a good gateway, Kendrick?
I think
What's
you
that-
had
the
the
rap
perfect.
battle was
yeah.
perfect, I'd say.
We've had the perfect lineup.
This-
You were quoting that one line from Not Like Us since it came out.
Not
That's
even a popular one. Not like it's a bad line, but it's not the line that sticks with people.
Say it.
Would
Say
you
the
like to
line.
let them know?
Probably A minor.
No,
No,
that's
you
the
don't wriggle out of it.
No. What's it say? It's
Are you my
Are you
friend?
my friend?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
liked it.
I say a lot.
That's all he had to sing. Whenever it was brought up, he wouldn't sing any of the actual. He'd do the bit at the end that's just like TikTok audio for dancing to, as a parody of what Drake does. But that I'd say is this is the perfect time to get into Kendrick, I guess, because
Yeah.
this album I'd say is his most approachable.
Yeah, I would
'Cause
agree.
There's
yeah.
no big themes, not necessarily. There's no overarching theme, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's more. It's more condensed, and there's more like quote unquote club hits.
Yeah, it's got a mix of everything as what was different with some of the other albums that he's released.
Yeah. So what do you think, Bryn? Just overall, off the
I
bat.
think because I was listening to it on the train to Leamington Spa, and I was watching through commentary,
Oh yeah. By the way, we're not the target audience for this. as
Yeah,
you can
we're
tell.
not the demographic.
And instead of the usual gay music I listen to,
Yeah,
Whoa,
for some me
hold
using
on.
slurs, it's just very apt. Even gay people are like, Bryn, get a grip.
Yeah, I'll vouch for him, I guess.
Great. I was going through the streets of Coventry, and I was thinking, I feel a lot harder and a lot safer
Um,
to this music.
you feel a lot harder.
What do you mean? You feel like you're exerting his presence on the album in yourself?
It's made me feel a power in some sense, a sort of a tiger-like strut.
High power.
Yes.
High power. Yeah,
Yes.
I get that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what you mean. It's got a very kind of like, in a way, prideful feeling to listening to.
Yeah, he's at the top. He's claiming himself as the winner of the rap battle and just the winner of the industry as a whole. And he's very direct and aggressive with what he agrees with and what he doesn't agree with.
Yeah, it does feel like a kind of victory sweep of an album.
Because I'd imagine if Bryn's walking through Coventry listening to Mr. Morale, and the big step is he's not feeling confident. He's feeling conflicted.
I remember you
What's
was
Mr. Morales?
That one's a very much more introspective album about basically about therapy and revisiting past traumas and growing from it. But it's not the same energy. But that was his last album, and this is just a whole different sound.
It is. That's, like I was saying, it's one of the things he's good at, is just reinventing what he does each time he makes an album.
But I think this one's very much rooted in this year, basically.
Yeah,
It's very recent. It's because most of it, not most of it, but it's the energy he had in the rap battle. It is based in that. There's lots of references to it. It's not all about that, which is what some people might have expected. But yeah, it is based in that. Bryn, how much of the battle did you know about? Because you're not a listener to either of them, really.
The other is called Drake.
Yeah, he's an actor.
Yeah, Drake Bell. He starred in the superhero movie, the Fairly Odd Parents movie.
Yep. No, he was an actor.
He was in a wheelchair for a show.
Yeah, he was Slippin' Jimmy or whatever.
And he's not like it.
He is not like us.
Yeah. But did you cover it? Did you follow it? Do you know where it is now? Or?
I presume he's not. I presume Drake's a bit peeved still. But then also the track was so good. He's lost so hard.
You'd think that.
You'd think he'd give up because he made some bad
I heard he was
choices.
He was fumbling with the comebacks.
Yeah, very much so.
I know he was like, he's obviously accusing him of being iffy with young girls. So
Kendrick was to Drake, yeah.
Kendrick to Drake, yeah. And Drake was like, I didn't do nothing to Millie Bobby Brown. He's like, I didn't mention Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, there were a few lines like that. And a lot of it's like, oh, prove it. And it's like, well, there's no literal proof that he's done anything like illegal. But there's a lot of proof that he is just weird. And I think that's the most important thing, is that like even mild Drake fans, because if you go to the far end, well, maybe we'll cover that in a bit, but they're not backing down. He won easily in their eyes.
Yeah,
but some people just like aren't listening to him. But he's kept it going. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Kendrick fans, okay, maybe you won, but God, just shut up, stop talking about it. It's over."
Good album.
But, like he's cancelled shows for people that are Drake, because he owns OVO and they own like stadiums and event spaces and stuff. So he's cancelled shows for like LA artists that showed support for Kendrick. So that's like keeping it going.
I didn't fucking know that. Oh my god.
Did you know about DeMar DeRozan, the one that's referenced on Not Like Us, the basketball player?
Yeah.
He's also in the music video. Drake was at like a basketball event because I think he owns one of the Toronto teams, or is like a part owner of the Toronto team. and they were doing a game, and he was versing them, and he just kept staring him down in the audience, and then they asked him like a question about like, oh, what do you think it's Mark Rose? And it's like, oh, if I saw a poster of him, I'd rip it down. And
Whoa.
they ask him after the game, what do you think about what Drake said? And he's like, yeah, if he can reach it. Which is just like a it doesn't make much sense. But so yeah, they've been keeping it going. I mean, he's trying, like I just read, I don't know how true this is, but Drake's apparently trying to sue Universal or something for artificially inflating the Not Like Us numbers. But what's that got to do with him? I mean, I get literally it's about him, but like, what actual damages is he seeking in that? Because he's not.
It's defamation.
Yeah, no, but it's not.
I mean,
it's not about the defamation.
Yeah,
it's about just like article. Like it's just it is weird. He's been weird about it. Whereas Kendrick hasn't, outside of the music, he hasn't done any real.
If
public
anything,
things.
I mean,
it's all been from around him, or like slight little things, like when he did the Super Bowl. There was a slight thing, slight reference, but that's what led to this album, and that's like the mindset he was in.
Yeah, I have to agree. I was going to say that it does. This album does feel like the next step up, specifically from kind of Not Like Us and the pop out kind of friends.
The pop out, that's a big part of it.
It's a massive part of like what this album became afterwards.
Yeah, because there are a few people at the pop out that were on this album. So but I guess we'll get into it later. But I think that was really important in shaping this album. Bryn and other people. The pop out was a concert Kendrick did on Juneteenth in Los Angeles, where he brought on a bunch of artists. Some initially, so the first hour it was like small local artists who was given a huge platform to, and they were, they weren't all that great to me, because they're he brought out people that were local to LA. So that was the first hour, and this would be like their first big concert. This was like streamed on Amazon Prime and stuff. This was huge. Then the second hour they brought out DJ Mustard, who did the beats for a few of the tracks on this. Yep. And then that was bigger artists. That had Roddy Ricch, who was on this, and it also had people like Steve Lacy, who Drake dissed on an XQC stream last night, which is embarrassing. Also, while they were both trying to promote gambling to presumably children. So that's not a great look. And then Steve Lacy just did crying laughing emoji to the comment. And then the final hour was Kendrick, and he did a Black Hippie reunion, which is a group that he was a part of, but they never actually produced anything together because of other things. And then he also brought out Dr. Dre, and then he's Not Like Us 5 times in a row, 6 if you count the instrumental, while everyone left the stadium.
Legendary shit.
And that brought us here to GNX, which means Joseph?
I believe it is the car. It's the make of the car, isn't it? And
yes.
As far as
the car he's on the cover.
Yes. As far as I'm aware, it was something. I saw somewhere that it said it was the car that his dad drove. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
I don't know about that, because if you always wanted a black Grand National, then he'd probably have his dad's. But that could be. But what I do know. I didn't do the research. Someone called Professor Sky did, but it is most likely. I've got my top researchers looking into this. No, he's a YouTuber. Check him out. But it's a car. It's a rare car. I think only a few dozen. So we're still about. They're rarely for sale. The last one I think sold for nearly $200,000. It's a rare car, last of its kind, only made in black paint. That's the only color it came in. It was released the year Kendrick was born.
That's awesome.
And it was like the last of its kind. The like warehouse it was built in, that was like the last car on the production line before it shut down. So you can understand there's some. He's alluding to him being the last of his kind. or the last of a dying breed.
I mean, you get I think it was TV Off where he says there's not enough.
Yeah,
few people left, but it's not enough.
A few people left, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
Do we want to go? I mean, we don't have to cover literally every song. That'd be crazy. But if we want to just start at the beginning and slowly.
I like the first song the most because I remember going back to the beginning of it because they would loop around.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Oh, this one's really good. I might add this one as well." And then I realized it was the song I already added.
Yeah. He was doing that for hours. He was listening over and over and over. Why this album so long?
Why's this album got 24 songs on it?
Yeah, the first one's like, it's a really good intro. It's a really strong intro. You got the Spanish. Was it Spanish, Bryn? Well, it's not Spanish, but it's Mexican Spanish.
Get it up.
But that's the beginning, and that's the only real framing device in the album. But it doesn't frame anything actually. It's just sort of like a recurring motif. And then he's. I mean, what do you think that song's about? What would you?
I was looking at the features then, and I misread it. I thought Anna Kendrick featured.
What the Cup song?
My God,
she did a feature with Snoop Dogg and DJ Khaled in the Pitch Perfect series. So it's not out of the. I mean, maybe Kendrick has the bar a little higher than those two are. I mean, he does semi-diss Snoop in the first song.
Yes, he does.
Well, he doesn't diss him, but he says he's slighted by him. In the same way he's slighted by Lil Wayne.
No, it's absolutely call him Lil Jon.
Robin Hood's
his own name.
Do you know about that, Bryn? Lil Wayne.
Little John from
Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne. So as we discussed previously, Kendrick will be headlining the Super Bowl next year. I believe it's in the same state that Lil Wayne is from.
It's in New Orleans, which is where he's from.
Yeah.
And he wanted to host. He's been saying he wants to host the Super Bowl, but just saying that you want to host the Super Bowl doesn't mean you're entitled to. Maybe he's been trying to. I don't know about that. But he didn't get it. Kendrick got it, and he's not taken the news well. Not that it's not like a first place, second place thing. I don't think he was in the running.
His name wasn't necessarily.
You have to sort of lobby for that position. You can't just say it in a few interviews. You have to sort of put in the work and be relevant enough to be asked. I'm not saying he's not relevant.
Kendrick's just taking centre stage.
Yeah, and instead of supporting, being like, "Oh, it's a shame I didn't get it," but I wish him the best. He's not taking it well because I guess he also aligns himself with Drake because he brought Drake on, and it's a complicated thing, but it doesn't need to be as complicated as Lil Wayne's taking it. Especially as
he was like,
he's not in his prime.
What did I even do? I didn't even say nothing.
So the line's like, "Oh, I listened to his music." This isn't the exact line. I listened to Carter 3, but now my hard work's let him down.
My hard work let Lil Wayne down.
That's not a diss.
He didn't even say anything bad. He just said, "Oh, it's a shame that Lil Wayne is disappointed in me."
There's only 2 sections where he'd be like actively dissing people, and they're both censored. But I don't think they're censored. Did you guys notice the bit where it sort of just cuts out? He's in the middle of saying a line, and it cuts out a bit like
I can't remember specifically, but yes, I remember.
One of them, I don't remember the exact bit, but the other one's like, "Oh, you're all laughing because someone's on trial because of blank, but you're all on trial," and that, people saying, "Oh, it's P Diddy, it's someone around P Diddy," but like, I think probably, but also there's enough people on trial that I think he's purposefully left it blank, so you just fill in the blank. He's not. This is an industry-wide diss against people that don't align with him. I also think
it's only people on the White Party list anyway. You're like in the.
Yeah, it's not a great look.
Most of my knowledge of Drake is from that one Atlanta episode.
Yeah,
it does kind of seem pretty on point.
Yeah, well, obviously, Donald Glover doesn't get on with Drake, and then Drake also dissed him back, but not like actively dissed him back. He just did like a visual joke at one of his concerts, but that's
Yeah,
the way
that sounds like
Drake's so
Drake.
petty. He's so petty.
This
Yeah,
isn't about
it-
Drake though.
No, this is just it's a reflection on the beef, but it marks out this is the direction I'm going in. Everything's great right now. It's only going to get better. I mean that then leads into Squabble Up. I'm assuming you added that one, Bryn.
I added that one.
Yeah, who
But I
did?
should have added TV off because I realised that was the one I actually vibed with.
Squabble Up's also they're pretty
What
similar.
is the most?
I can't add TV off until I have 3 more songs on there.
What?
What are you on?
I have a rule on my
Spotify.
playlist. I have a rule on my playlist. I can't add the same artists unless they're 3 songs apart from the same
Oh,
artist.
okay. Well,
That's kind of wild.
we got to find you a new album, but you're picking the album, so that's.
I've got too much rap next to each other as well, which I'm not enjoying. Because otherwise,
So you just like dragging
won't
them out.
I won't get into the rap unless I have some 50s shows into
He's
it.
got to ease himself in with some yakety yak.
I need musical whiplash to get me into an album.
I can
I
kind of
mean,
get
yeah,
that.
but you
Well,
know,
because
Shuffle
I
is a
feel like-
feature. You know, Shuffle's a feature on Spotify.
Yeah, no matter if you add them 3 tracks apart,
I like
they're
to
still
see
going to
the
be
recent
shuffled.
stuff I've added onto a playlist because it's like it's 366 hours long, and then and it only ever shuffles the new the songs I've already had too much of.
Yeah, Spotify's
need-
like that.
And I like to curate it in this sort of 3 artists different. So I've got Squabble Up next to What Is This Feeling from Wicked, Lumbrini Girls, Tyler the Creator, Sticky,
Good.
Waxed Out Murals, Mother Knows Best from Tangled, Mercy Mercy Me by Marvin Gaye, Owl on the Prowl by Duolingo,
What?
Rich Man from the Fiddler on the Roof musical,
Huh.
Eclectic.
New Person Saying All Mistakes, Tame Impala.
We're not going through all 300 and
And,
something hours.
really. I just thought that was a funny series of songs.
It is humorous.
The thing that I think Bryn probably would have thought is that in the hook, I think it is, of Squabble Up, he sounds like Forrest Gump.
Look out my face.
Yeah.
That's a great hook. Although I can imagine academics didn't dislike that one, but I can imagine his fans.
Yes.
Academics fans was even worse than Drake fans, even though they're the same thing. But,
Drake fans are always like, oh, he's so
they're like,
corny.
trash,
Like, he speaks
trash,
like that.
no. But yeah, I don't know much to say about that one. That one's a lot of the songs were a lot less dense than Whacked Out Murals.
Yeah.
That one immediately went on the. I mean, because that one was everyone knew the tune of that one.
Yeah, it's the one that was at the beginning of Not Like Us.
The Not Like Us video, but yeah, I like that one. Another banger in the
I
Hole.
think as we get on to
Banger
Luther,
in the hole. What are you-
Luther. I
Luther
never have
and-
too much Luther Vandross.
yeah, true. I mean, I'm gonna initially go a tiny bit into Gloria here as well. Not too
Yeah,
deep.
tiny.
Yeah, but I think that it's a sort of cheat code, kind of. You can't go wrong when it's a Kendrick Lamar and SZA. It's just,
Yeah, they're
it's an immediate win.
the perfect duo.
Is Scissor a woman?
She's
Yes.
a woman. Yeah, she's the woman on Luther and Gloria, which are just very different vibes to the first few songs.
Is Luther about the TV show Luther?
No,
No, the
it's
back-
a Luther Vandross sample. If this world were mine, which is actually Cheryl Lynn's song. I think he's featured on it, but he's more known for it. So, yeah, that one. I also don't have much to. I don't have much to say.
just
But that was just a really pretty tune.
And I mean, back to what we were saying before, how this isn't one of the more kind of dense albums in terms of meaning and message.
Yeah.
It's just kind of sonically and lyrically, it's just a good music, pretty much. That you get a lot of that on this album, where they don't particularly mean much, essentially, as far as Kendrick songs go, but they're just really well made songs.
Well, it's like what he says on Whacked Out Murals, where it's like fuck a double entendre. I want you to feel this or
Yeah.
hear this. It is a lot simpler. It's not, he's not talking to Tupac. He's not talking to his therapist.
He's not going to live or die depending on your choices.
Yeah, he's not. It's not weakness or wickedness. Pick
It's
a side.
one of the albums, a pick your own storybook.
Damn.
Kind
If you
of,
listen to it in reverse, yeah, that's why we should have covered it again. But it's fine. This one's
This is good.
good show. Okay, Man in the Garden was after Luther, and what did you think of that one?
I probably would say it's in the nicest way possible. It's my least favorite one on the album, but that's
Ooh.
also it's not a terrible. So that I can say it's my least favorite on the album. It doesn't mean I hate it. I'd still give it
Yeah.
like a fucking 8.5 out of 10.
See,
It's
we're going to disagree on this one. Not that
Yeah, it's your-
this isn't my favorite one, no. But this one, so this one is basically the statement piece of the album. This is where he draws the line, and it, says where he came from, says where he is, and says where he's going, where he wants to be, where he's headed. And I think it's apparently it's like a reference to Nas. I've not listened to any of the songs yet, so I can't speak on that. But you know how it builds progressively more and more throughout the song, and then you've got the layered vocals like he did on Meet the Grahams and stuff like that. And it builds and builds and builds. I was gonna say, and this is I know you're not gonna agree with it now. I think this is better the way it builds up than he did in Meet the Grahams and than he did in 16 in LA. I just think this was a way better song than both of those.
I also think that. I think I came off a little bit too strong when I said this is my least favorite. It's the one that kind of didn't grab me the most.
Yeah,
in a way.
It's not one you'd return to.
Yeah,
but as easily.
By no means does that mean I don't like the song. I thought it was excellent as they.
Yeah.
Or you know me.
Yeah, I mean you'll like anything he puts.
Yeah, I know. How about you, Bryn? How about you?
Oh,
I'm having a hard time remembering.
I don't think you remember this one.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't ask you.
Fair enough.
That's all good. I've got opinions. I can't remember it.
Well, it's not like we're recording or anything. You can come back to you.
So, what's the nature of this bass? What's the?
It's him. It's the one where he says, "I deserve
He's
it."
recurring. I deserve it all.
I deserve it. And he's stating his claim. Is I did this. I did this. I'm making sure my son's better than I am. I'm making sure that I'm looking after my mum and my daughter.
And then by the end of it, it goes from him deserving it all to why do. Well, what's the last thing is tell me why you deserve the greatest of all time.
The greatest of all time, which
he's asking
that could
why
be many people.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't see them as having put in the effort that he has.
I see. Okay.
But then we get to Hey Now.
Hey Now.
Which is one of the. I mean, that's the first one on the.
First feature.
That has a feature that
I
isn't.
thought it was Man in the Garden.
Yeah.
What?
No, we've moved on to Hey Now.
We've gone to Hey Now, and Dodie 6 is, as far as I'm aware, a fairly underground.
Yeah, no one. I watched a few reactions, and like barely anyone knew him. I don't think anyone I watched knew that voice. They thought it was other people, but I like it. I like it. So.
Yeah, I think that's a thing with a lot of the features in this album is that they're surprisingly like. I was listening to it on my when I was at work today, and it's like these are people that are like going on features on Kendrick albums, and they're like, they're standing up to it. They're like on the same level.
They're meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good features.
I saw Academics. I did watch him react to it, and it was he kind of liked it, to be fair. But his way of coping with that is like, oh yeah, well, we forced him to. We were saying he doesn't do anything for Compton. He doesn't do anything for the LA artists he says he likes. So we sort of pressured him into having these people on the album. And I obviously that's wrong. Obviously, if he's doing, like, let's say he was doing this album idea of harking back to LA culture, LA music. Of course, he's having LA artists on it.
Yeah, it's like textbook. It's a what's the word I'm trying to think of? As you said, he's going back to like the LA vibe. This is quintessentially LA, not the album, but you know, it's embedded in the roots of this album. It's embedded in the roots of Kendrick Lamar himself. So
Yeah.
it was bound to happen. It was bound to be a case where he was gonna do features with people from, yeah.
It wasn't there wasn't many. There wasn't too many, and a lot of them were sort of condensed onto single bits of songs or single songs. But he showed up on 2 of them, which was interesting. What do we think of the line? Who the fuck I feel like? I feel like Joker Harley Quinn. What do we think about that line?
I love the part after it where he says, "Shit gets scary a day in October."
Yeah, it was a scary album.
It was, yeah.
But
It's
now
Halloween
about
album.
Joker. I mean, that's such a weird coincidence. I don't think anyone else is going to talk about Joker in tandem with this album. But
Who the fuck I feel like Joker?
do you remember that one, Bryn? Do you remember Hey Now?
I'm starting to listen to the albums as we're talking.
Oh dear.
I get the G.
I think
It's background noise, just I get the tone.
the
It's
kind
fine.
of well, it's not really a verse, is it? Because it is the verse. It's the chorus essentially of the song where it's like, "Hey now,
Hey Now.
hey now, say now." Like
I'm on
that,
about my yen.
that part just like fucking. It's just flowy. I love that fucking.
Genius
part.
said apparently yen is a form of currency, and it's about him.
It
About
is
money.
it's Japanese currency. Although you don't want to
Yeah.
focus on your yen right now, it is probably the weakest of the big currencies. This is for the C section of no, wait, C section.
Is it?
To the
Oh,
C
Not as
segment
good as
of the or E of MNM, which is the economics. But I talk about what's hard and what's not in economics.
Big face,
Um,
but I get my piece from within.
who's this 36 fellow?
He's we've talked about this. We've literally talked
Yeah.
about this. Anyway, Reincarnated, future classic.
This is the song of all time.
The Spanish one.
No.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Does that one start with
Reincarnated.
Spanish? Yeah,
Yeah,
it
'cause
does.
It does,
It's
yeah.
not the Spanish
Yeah.
song. It's a 2-pack sample, the background music, and then academics is like, oh, well, imagine they let him use his audio, but they don't let Drake use his voice. That's not a good argument again. Just because they respect his legacy, and Drake doesn't. Yeah, this one's really good. Joe,
I've
do you want to talk
tried-
this one through?
I've not properly looked into it deep enough. I've tried to kind of think about who he's talking about in the first 2 verses. I just haven't.
Yes, because that is important. And if you went to Genius, you'd be wrong twice.
Oh shit! Genius got it wrong.
Not wrong. Yes, wrong. We're not
They're geniuses.
basically, or at least maybe it'll come out that he is talking about specific people. He's talking in archetypes. There were lots of
Yes, I was.
singers that have struggled with drugs. There are lots of singers that have chased money and success over and anything else. You know, people have mentioned, maybe he's
Yeah.
referencing Jay-Z, maybe he's referencing. Obviously, he's not literally referencing Jay-Z because he wasn't around in 1947. But
Yeah.
you know, there's Chuck Berry, there's John
Yeah.
Lee Hooker, which is the one that Genius says, who is known
Yeah.
as the Boogeyman, ironically. So that's why they're stuck with that, because Kendrick calls himself the Boogeyman. But yeah, I think it is just archetypes. This is what I
that
don't
makes-
want to be. I don't want to be stuck down a path of addiction. I don't want to be chasing money over everything else.
I thought it was so. My understanding of it was, you know, reincarnated. He's coming back each time. Like
Yeah,
my present body is Kendrick Lamar. Fucking, and I'm gonna say something. This is my like kind of hear me out, kind of not hear me out, but like hold your
Okay.
horses kind of thing.
Kendrick Lamar. Here we are.
Hear me out.
There's a
But what's it? It kind of, you know how in 616 in LA, when he's kind of doing that confession part, and he's like, "I know my confession is
Talking
yours."
to God, yeah.
Yeah, but who am I if I don't go to war? And it's kind of for me at least. I mean, I don't really do much about no religion, but I suppose the idea of Kendrick being that like close to God in that way, in back and forth with what I'm assuming is him and God in the third verse
Him
of the
and
song.
quote unquote his father, which is basically a stand-in for God, but also a little bit his father.
Yeah, and it's saying like, oh, you are my favorite musical producer. It's you.
Yeah, he says he's an angel sent down by God to sort of like Lucifer, but better.
Yeah. So
He
I
also
think
talks about Judgment Day.
Yeah, well, he talks about Babylon, which is a place of greed and gluttony and yes, it's sure. It's also a TV show. It's many things. It's a song, but yeah, it's a place and he's covered religion before, most notably on Damn. Wonder why it's called that. And that's where he sort of loses me. Not just because I'm not religious, but because he leaves a lot of it open to being misrepresented. Like the Israelite thing, his cousin leaves a voicemail about. It's not a very nice way of looking at the world to picture yourself as a cursed group of people. And I understand it. I understand why I think that, but it's not. He's grown since then. If that's what he believed on that, which he doesn't say either way, he just uses the audio and lets the listener to decide if it's relevant or not. But that he's downcast and he's kept down just by God. Now he's talking to God. He says he talks to God in real life. Like he even references it. I think Man at the Garden. He closes a close relationship with God. Whisper to me every time I close my eyes is one of the lyrics. He actually does that. I mean, apparently, I think with Esquire or something, he's talking to Scissor in like a interview style situation, and that is. But so that I guess is him expressing that sort of back and forth he has. But yeah, now he's showing that yes, he knows that he's still conflicted. But
remember, you was conflicted.
He's aspiring to do better, and he knows where he's weak. He's trying to right those wrongs till he's right with God.
Just a classic case of Kendrick Lamar storytelling in a way.
But this is just like on a single song. I like that.
I like it.
Reincarnated and Gloria, I'd say, are the two most Kendrick of Kendrick songs.
Yeah.
Even though they're not very similar to what he's done before, like sonically.
TV off.
This was the first one I listened to accidentally because.
Really?
Yeah. I was working when this album came out, and I checked my phone. So many notifications. BBC News just telling me about every horrible thing in the world. Messages, memes. But I also get. I mean, this was. I've got notifications on for Kendrick Lamar's YouTube channel. Which was quite useful during election night because at midnight he dropped the Not Like Us music video. So I was already awake. I was like, oh, perfect. A Tory wipeout and a Kendrick music video. How sweet. So yeah, I got TV off. He's uploaded this. I thought it was just another one-off song, like one like Not Like Us and like Let the Party Die.
I thought that as well.
So I listened to it, and I'm walking home from work. It's dark. It's scary. It's quiet. And then I hear him yell mustard, and I laugh out loud. That's it. That's my favourite song on the album.
Oh, like Joker, like Harley Quinn.
Oh, we've covered that.
No, but I meant like because you're laughing in public. I was doing a callback.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not songs behind.
You're talking about the reference.
Who the fuck does Aaron feel like? He feel like Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bryn, what's your opinion on TV off? Do
you added this one? You know this one.
Well, it's on the I'm planning to add it.
I thought you said you added this one.
No, I accidentally added Squiggle Up or whatever the second song was.
Squabble Up.
Yeah. But yeah, TV off's good. I like the beat. I like it's got good energy.
Yeah. It's got the same kind of
switch which comes out that like middle song Mustard on the Beat.
Yeah, because isn't it Soundwave did the first half of it? I think.
Yeah, Soundwave produced most of the album.
Yeah.
Jack Antonoff also gets a lot of producer
I think it
credits
was
on this.
yeah, it was on Squabble.
I think they co-produced like every few songs. But yeah, just really, really fun. That one, if he's not playing that at the Super Bowl, I don't know.
I only found out about
things.
Jack Antonoff because I was told that the Rick Glassman episode of Soul Boom was apparently really good, and then I thought he looked just like Rick Glassman, and then I was like, this guy's not talking about autism at all, and then I realized it was a wrong podcast, wrong man.
Jack Antonoff is also the guy that produces the Taylor Swift songs.
He's long time Taylor Swift producer.
And he's dating Margaret Qualley.
Who is
Yeah,
that?
she's in The Substance.
She's Substance.
Oh,
she's also
she's-
in Kinds of Kindness, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, I know the one.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I mean, there's not much to say about this song. It slaps. There is the line, "Walk in New Orleans with the etiquette of LA yelling, muster." So
Bars.
is that confirmation that Not Like Us is definitely going to get played at the Super Bowl?
I hope
That'd
so.
be great.
It has to.
Oh, that would piss the fuck off Drake. That would be super.
Yeah, he'd have to turn his TV off or something. It'd be
That would be-
spooky.
Hey!
Oh,
Well, I forget the rest of them.
spooky, scary,
Spooky,
crazy, scary,
Crazy.
spooky, hilarious.
Hilarious. Although that guy is the one feature that I don't know the guy. I still don't know the guy because once again,
Lefty
but he
gunplay.
was on a podcast saying some whack stuff. Not like backer type business, but it seems a little let's call him racist.
Ah,
What are the songs you definitely think are Drake based?
Well,
so
Waxed Out
Whack Out
Murals
Muriels is absolutely.
actively.
Yeah.
Scribble Up maybe. A little
TV
bit.
Off.
TV Off, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
But
I think
I think it's moving past it. There's no like direct. He's not
Yeah.
dissing him again. He's just like, oh yeah, I won. What was the one? There was the one where he's like, Black Noah, I strangled me a goat, which is obviously a Drake reference as well.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think by proxy, and I suppose we'll get to this later on, but the fact that Heart Part 6 is on this album,
Yeah, which is
It
a
just-
Drake song.
yeah, just because it's also the same name as the Heart Part 6 by Drake.
Yeah, which came out first, but technically, I guess Kendrick has claim on it, but it is a Drake song. It's nice that he let
Yeah.
Drake on the album.
Good stuff. He's so supportive like that.
I saw someone say, I don't remember who said it. I saw someone say, I think the only person in the world that wouldn't say yes to being on a Kendrick album is Nicki Minaj, and yes, that does include Drake.
He
I
would
don't
say, yeah.
imagine. I could imagine.
Why not Nicki?
Hmm?
Why not
Because
Nicki?
it's weird.
Oh,
She's
because
like-
she's also like on the Lil Wayne side of the
yeah,
argument, but she's
she's
not what
also
she was.
not good.
I mean, we
She
got
had
that whole cousin COVID vaccine conspiracy she was pushing.
She had the thing about Megan Thee Stallion, didn't she?
Oh yeah,
She got
that was another rap
big
beef
out
that
of
she
her.
just lost.
She lost that so bad.
She entered a rap beef because there was a reference not to her husband, just to any sexual abuser, about
Which-
rappers that are less annoyed at Megan because Megan Thee Stallion was in. She got shot in the foot by another person, and blah blah blah. Anyway, yeah, they're not annoyed at Megan, they're annoyed at Megan's Law, and Megan's Law is a law that was made so that people who suffered abuse can still testify against people even after the statute of limitations went down. And Nicki decided that was aimed at her and started a whole rap beef that didn't go her way. And it is a big, self-report, I guess, bringing up that her own husband did
Is it
bad
on
stuff.
Is
It's
on
on
a
the
sex
list.
offenders list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dodgers,
TV
Dodgers
good.
Blue.
Dodgers Blue, yes. That one,
love
I don't
that
have any
one.
notes for. Like, it's a nice tune,
Yeah.
but it's not. And I added it to my. I think I added every song actually, but it's not. It's not one I'd ever like actively go back to. It's not got the most substance. It's just like it's a bit like Empire State of Mind, the Jay-Z song. It's just referencing areas of New York, and if you've not been to New York, like what the hell? What are they talking about? But it's a little obnoxious and a little better of a tune.
I just like
Also
how
about LA.
I like the Roddy Ricch feature. I like the
love Roddy
vibe of it.
Ricch. He was at the pop out. He was great.
Hell yeah.
He had a teddy bear on his. Well, not a teddy bear, but he had a bear on his belt that kept falling off.
No, I think this might. Yeah, if we're going over Dodgers Blue, because there's not really much in terms of Dodgers Blue.
I don't have much to say,
Dodger
but
Blue.
it's just a good tune.
I think-
I imagine Bryn has some insight.
Yeah. Bryn, Dodger Blue.
Dodger's arc.
Yes.
Dodger
So,
Blue, okay. Are you still there?
Yes.
yes, we are.
We don't have much to say in regards to
So Peekaboo, Peekaboo,
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo, Peekaboo, Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
I don't want to say it's my favorite. It's up there though.
It's up there.
I
I
just-
always
it-
think I don't like it, and then I listen to it.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm like,
know.
It's kind of fun. It's hard
I
to.
think about it,
I
think
can
about it,
understand
think
why
about
people
it.
don't like it.
It's just so funny. I just put the boogers in my chain. Peekaboo.
Yeah.
It's. I just. There's something. It's hard to explain. It's the same.
It
with
knows
Peekaboo.
what it's doing. It knows
Yeah.
what it's doing.
It's like when is it on Family Ties where he's like top of the morning, top of the morning, top
Top
of
of
the
the
morning.
morning, top of the morning. Brother.
It's like he knows what he's doing, but he's doing it so well.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been good at it. Like this is the big butt bang boom
Bang, bang,
song
boom,
as well.
boom, ow.
By the way, on Cameron's previous point, I do find that finding out what the name of the album means, and that's quite a good analysis, and I think that shades it all quite well. Of,
Yeah,
like, the whole album being about this sort of status he's given himself, or how he sees the rap community and him seeing as like the last one of a dying breed or whatever of like proper rappers, and like all of it sort of being a reflection on that idea or legacy and whatnot. It's quite interesting.
yeah. No, I didn't realize that until you mentioned it. I just thought it's the name of car. That's it. Easy.
Yeah, I mean, he has
But
the car.
it's like
He
El
bought
Camino.
the car. He's got 2 cars, but we can get onto that in a bit.
Bing, bing,
Well-
bop,
well-
boom, 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 bop, bam.
Yeah, what do you think of those lyrics? What do you think that means?
Bing bong bada bong bong.
Yes.
Yeah, he got
both.
it. He knows it.
Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand.
Is this the things that someone was referencing earlier?
People think it's a reference to that guy that's like,
Bang, bang.
I tied my shoelaces,
Bada, bang, boom, pow.
I couldn't do it, and then everyone's like, oh,
Super hot fire. That's it.
yeah, classic, yes, artist.
I don't think it is a reference to him, but if it
No, I
is,
don't think it is. I mean, he does on a video like all the time. I don't think B on Euphoria was a reference to anything. I think it sounds cool.
yeah, it's a thing that I saw. There's an Instagram account I follow that I just like put a whole bunch of these just noises that Kendrick makes.
Yeah.
Shwoo! Shoo! He just keeps making noises.
But that's
But
the
it-
best bit. I guess you pumped up.
It works.
It's like you ever go into those AI music generators and you just put random letters and it makes it musical.
I haven't.
I don't
haven't
often
done
talk
that.
to the AIs.
The clankers.
The clankers, yeah. I
Yes.
think that's a slur, but anyway.
Would bring
Half
Yeah,
Oh,
Past
exactly.
Six.
It's AI based slurry.
Let's do a quick fire round on 6:30 because let's do it. I'll
This will
let
just be
you
called
lead
the
this one.
GNX podcast.
Me, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you get this done.
when I was listening, so the second time I listened to this, I was like, well, this song was inevitable. I didn't predict it, but it was like, oh, of course he's going to reference the split he did with TDE to do P.G. Lang. Black Hippie as well, early career. It's nice. It's nice. It's nostalgic. I've not listened to all the Hearts. I only recently listened to Heart Part 5. I've listened to Heart Part 4 because of the Drake diss. I listened to Heart Part 6 by Drake. But yeah, I was like, this song was always going to happen.
Yeah.
It is interesting that it's on the album. The first time we hear it is on the album because normally it precedes an album.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well,
Is
Is this on the album? So that the next album, not saying it'll be soon or not, the next album doesn't have. It is literally a fresh start. He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to bring up TDE, and he doesn't have to bring up Drake.
That's what I was. In a way, that's what I was thinking. It feels kind of like the Heart series is a part thing. You know, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It feels like an ending point to it, almost.
Like the final one.
I don't know if I'm certain in that, but it's got a kind of finality feeling to it, as opposed to, you know, Heart Part 4 is at least the one that I've started with. Is like, you know, that's the diss one. It's the kind of aggressive leading into Damn. Yeah. And then you've got Heart Part 5 where it's like, I do this for my culture. This is why I do this. Everything I do, I love doing this. Going on to his therapy album, essentially, of why he does what he does and the reason it helps.
I mean, this one did have a Heart-esque song in Let the Party Die.
Yeah.
Which does echo some of the sentiments on this, but it's a completely different sound to what the album was. Even like Man at the Garden doesn't quite sound like that. It's the most similar song to it, but
Let the Party Die. It doesn't really feel like a. It doesn't, as you say.
It doesn't match the tone of what came out.
And as you say, the Heart Part 6 is on the album. Is it here just so you know when he goes on to the next one, he doesn't?
Well, that was my theory. Is that this is just like he's got. I'm not saying he wasn't working on this for a while, but it is so based in what's happened this year. Like I said earlier, that I don't think this is like the kind of stuff he was working on late 2023 when he was in the studio, for example.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying, oh, there'll be a new album soon because he's got two cars. He's got 2 cars in the promo video, and then he says on this album, oh, double back like deluxe, and obviously the deluxe albums come out afterwards. This is the song that makes me believe it a bit more. And then there's the music video earlier where it says like Compton Christmas, and people are like, oh, maybe Christmas Day there'll be a new album, and you know we'll have to see. But I'd assume it'd be after the Super Bowl or
it's
just before the Super Bowl, if anything.
It's the same as Damn. You just play it in reverse, and it's just him selling his cars instead.
Yeah, I don't want this anymore. I wanted a Black Grand National ever since I was a kid, but no. I mean, the next song,
GNX,
is the title.
Take this away, Bryn.
GNX.
Who put the West back in front of things?
Tell them who did it, Bryn.
Who did it?
Kendrick did it, yeah. Do you know GNX? Remember that one?
It's the car.
Oh no, yeah, it's the album, but there's also a song. It's got a few features on.
Hitter did it.
Peso did it. And then Young Threat. I don't think.
Yeah. No, he's the one that kind of whispers at the end. He's kind of like.
Oh yeah, I don't like the whisper at the end. I don't think this is probably my least favorite song on the album. I still listen to it because once you're into it, it is kind of a vibe. But the background audio. Is
I
not
get what
my
you
favorite.
mean.
And
it's the hardest beat to kind of
unfocus
with the clicking.
Hold of, yeah.
The what?
Yeah, it's got the snares on it.
Yeah, and the weird like planky plonky piano noises.
What's all these instruments on this music album?
It is until Kendrick.
It's intentional, and it does sound good with all the voices over it. But it's like I'll skip off of it by then, you know.
Yeah, it's 14 seconds in when he starts rapping.
Yeah,
it's like, okay.
And I also don't have much to say about it. It's the least streamed song on the album. I think broadly people agree.
Yeah, it's the toughest to get into. I like it though. I like
I like it.
features.
Well, as I said, I've added every single thing.
Yeah,
But it
I've
doesn't
added
leave
it
me
all.
with much. It does feel like another statement piece, but we've heard the statement. West, how on top we all are. It doesn't add anything new apart from new features.
Yeah, it's in a way. I think there's a kind of double-sided thing to it where there are statement pieces, but it's also kind of in a way opportunities. You know, as we were saying earlier, that a lot of these features are relatively underground artists who are staying consistent with Kendrick on these songs.
Yeah,
And
meeting his energy.
Yeah, and it's just a way of him, as we were saying previously. You know, this is where he's from. This is the LA. These are LA artists. He's supporting his LA artists. He's putting them on these songs. He's making sure they get the opportunities to get their songs out here. You know, it's just one of those. I feel like that Dodger Blue as well, kind of, and then you've also got Hey Now as well. TV Off, the guy on that isn't really in it much.
He's just sort of like
Hey now, you're a rock
bit.
star.
It's like a bit at the end of Not Like Us, where it's just another like, okay, let's do repeating. I think it is like again aimed at Drake. At the end, where it's like, oh, you always want to end your songs with like a TikTok audio segment where it's repeating to add a bit of noise, and you can imagine that this one does veer into that.
Yeah,
but it's just like an end piece to the song.
Yeah, in a way, this song, GNX and the other ones I've just described, like we were saying previously, the kind of pop out show vibe, where it's like it's just a way of him getting his community together, and they just
and they
just
do,
go
you
in
know,
there. Yeah,
it was like most. It is quite annoying when this happens, but most singles or albums these days, they come out and they've got the secret features. Yeah, Chromacopia did it. Kanye always does it. Kanye doesn't ever really update who's on them for his recent albums either. But not that I've listened to them. But,
because when it came out, it didn't.
So a lot of people were like, oh, why Jesus? Oh, and it's like, no, they just sound similar, but these are new artists he's setting up. So the only one, everyone knew SZA and everyone knew Roddy Ricch, but the rest were all just most people didn't know that they were about. Now they've got a new audience. I saw 36 post pictures of him and Kendrick in the studio, and that's always nice to see. I saw the lady that sings in Spanish. She also posted like, "Oh, thank you for the opportunity," and it's nice to see what he's doing. I mean, even in the Squabble Up video that came out earlier, seeing different bits of LA culture represented, even just fleetingly. That's what this album was aiming to do, and it does it quite well.
It does it immensely. Now, Gloria, I think,
Classic.
it is a classic. It's what a way
confusing
to
on the
album.
first listen.
Yeah.
But Bryn, what do you know? Gloria, do you remember this one? This one, what's your take on it?
Gloria
What do you think?
Steinem.
Huh?
Okay, Bryn.
If you're
Yes.
From the album GNX, the one that we've been talking about.
Yeah, Gloria
for about
Steinem.
an hour.
Do you think
Gloria
you think the song is about Gloria Steinem?
Who's
Let me
that?
Google who she is. She like a congressmember. Yeah, she's an American activist and journalist.
Okay. Gloria
Yeah.
Estefan. It is not about her.
Close.
Do you want to
It is
just
Estefan.
maybe give it a listen?
I'm listening.
It's the
I've been
final
listening to
track.
it.
Yeah, it's the final track.
It's very somber. It's very. I don't know. What's it about?
What is it about? What do you think it's about from the lyrics, from the things you've heard?
Grandmother dying or being.
Yeah.
What
What does it sound like? Who does it sound like he's talking to? And don't you dare say
a
Gloria.
woman.
A woman.
SZA.
SZA is the voice, yes, but
But who does SZA represent in this song? Yeah, let me
His
get up
relationship
the
with
lyrics.
women, maybe.
It's a closer one. Hold on, this.
yeah. I mean, you first listen, you think it's about his girlfriend, long-time girlfriend, childhood sweetheart. slash sort of wife, but they're not actually married. But I think they called each other.
I met her when I was off the porch as a teenager. You know.
All right. So what's
Her
Ashley about?
favorite movies: The Notebook. She caught a body, but she wriggled through that sentence.
So what's
It's about
Ashley
pen.
about then?
It's about pen. His
Yeah,
pen.
That's so true.
He's talking about his pen, yeah.
His songwriting and his
His-
abusive relationship.
Oh,
with
I see.
she's controlling and yeah.
His
That
name
would-
is Pen.
yeah.
Oh,
it sounds-
Notebook.
Yeah, I know your favorite film
There
is
you go.
Notebook. It's my favorite line because it's so it's so cheesy.
Oh, okay, that's clever. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, I might have to re-listen to that with new context.
And that's people are saying, oh, it's quite common. Like apparently a few people have done similar songs. I think Tupac did one that was like talking about his girlfriend, but his girlfriend in the song was actually a gun. And then someone
It was a
I think Nas also did a gun.
A boy is a gun.
A boy has a gun, sure.
You some motherfucking day.
I think the
yeah.
Notorious B.I.G.
It's nice
did a
that it's a
song
pen.
that about a girl, but it was actually about a toothbrush.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I always forget to use you in the morning.
Yeah, that's B.I.G. He was a real Cockney bloke.
You keep my gob clean. You get around my boulders.
Yeah, it wasn't very subtle.
I think this guy's talking
Well,
about his fucking toothbrush.
That's an expert's opinion.
Oh.
Made me look pretty. You stared on my shelf.
And with that, we reached the end of the 12 tracks on GNX.
Yeah, can I just say about my... I think rappers are a bit too... I don't know, they're very... Because they have to be confident by nature, but I think... You know, I'm a big comedy fan, and I think the thing of comedy is they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, like the guy that
Yeah.
did Peekaboo. He took himself too
Yeah.
seriously on that track.
But yeah, but what I'm saying is like Drake takes himself too seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
Angry eyeing a guy while he plays basketball. He's not going to notice you. He's playing a game.
yeah.
What we giving this album then?
Yeah. Do we do it out of 5? I think we did it out of 5. Or did we do it out?
Oh,
Yeah, we did it out of 5, I think. But
that-
we did half one, so it's basically
Yeah.
like letterbox.
because I thought we were doing it out of 10, so I was going to give it an 8.5. So I just round it up and I'll give it 4.5 out of 5. I like this album.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.
I was going to give it I gave it a 4 on the first.
Yeah, you did. I remember you
And-
posted that.
I listened to it a few. Yeah, I always do my first watch or my first listen as a immediate. Like it, I can sit with the thing, but until I re-experience it, I'm not going to change too much about it. But yeah, I'll give it a 4.5. I think it's like a 9 now, a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what I was expecting, and that's probably what it was. You know, it is.
That's-
People are saying this is a mixtape. Whether there does become another album or not, it doesn't matter. We're not getting into a damnation situation.
Oh,
But
are you saying I get to pick the round next week?
yeah, you pick a song.
Absolutely. Go for
Can I
it.
tell the audience so they know what to listen along to?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what we used
of
to
course,
do,
that's what we did.
and I'll leave it in the description as well.
Okay, it is Cunt to the Gangs, Cunt'll Fix It, the album.
Oh my god. Okay, grand. This looks great. What's it called? Oh, I see it.
I'm
Jesus.
seeing them in December. It's my second time seeing them. They're so good live.
Wow, it's so much.
I've seen them live, and I've seen like guys.
It's the same length as GNX.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
You won't go
God.
for every song.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah.
But yeah, when I saw them live, they were like old Tory guys going like, "Oh, enough of this rubbish," and they'd walked out during it.
What were they doing at Cunt in the Gang?
Yeah, Cunt to the Gang. I'll tell you more about the band's history once we're in the heat of it.
Yeah, in the thick of it.
Would you rather me do that album? The one single.
Well, he does
No.
have an album. We're not doing that one.
We're absolutely
Maybe
not.
I'll recommend that one. Who knows?
Okay.
I have
Yeah,
two
yeah.
choices for my next album choice, but yeah.
Cool.
Guns and the Gang. Funky.
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I suppose we deserve
Like
this.
that
Just
Yeah, yeah.
hearing us talk about Kendrick Lamar for the past like 2 hours.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
2 hours yet, but it is definitely over an hour. We will condense it.
Yes.
Now we're on to news.
Let's speed through Trump, alright.
Trump
Yeah.
won.
This was this was my choice, but this was pitched by the guy that also pitched Brexit last time.
I don't know.
No suicide analogies this time. What's your take on what happened in America, Bryn?
I think Kamala's a better candidate than Hillary by tenfold.
Yeah,
But again,
she didn't say Pokemon go to the polls this time, and I don't know if that lost her votes or it gained her votes. We'll find out.
she should have said, "You've got brain rot if you don't vote for the polls."
I'll send all the Skibidi toilets to Ohio. JD Monster's screaming, "That's my state, no!"
If she did it while griddying at the same time, I think she would have done
Yeah.
well. I mean, yeah, everything's been mostly said about it. Like,
Not on this podcast though. That's the
no, this podcast-
yeah, well, you guys all know what happened, so let's be quiet.
yeah. I think everyone knows their opinion about Joker too. Anyway, let's get that. End of the podcast, guys. No, I think I saw there's a good clip of her saying how she was asked like, "Oh, you're not really mentioning the fact you're a woman on this campaign," and then she was like, "Yeah, it's sort of apparent, isn't it? Like, I'm not gonna rub it in, am I? Like Hillary was to an extent." They did both make the mistake of going,
Yeah, wasn't there a
Happy
one where
birthday
she
to a
was like-
future prime minister, no, president,
"Who needs to be future president?" Yeah.
the first female president. It's crazy that we've had 3 now, and all of them sucked. I'm not casting aspersions. It's just like, couldn't we have 1? Nice.
Yeah. The
prime
set of
minister?
bad things. I remember I was in a taxi like a day after the election, and it's funny to kind of realize that Americans don't have a grasp on like
And
anything that isn't a two-party system.
Yeah, well, they don't even have a grasp on politics. Like, it's bad. It's very bad in this country. But like, people are saying, even if it's just to mask like racism, they're saying, "Oh yeah, well, I'm voting this because of immigration. I'm voting this because they're gonna get rid of all the jobs. They're gonna send us into."
They're gonna take up bloody jobs.
Nothing substantial was said in the campaigns, either campaign. I mean, obviously Trump's biggest talking point was tariffs on everything coming into the country, which would just make prices so expensive. Obviously it's like, well, actually the people that pay it are the people sending the stuff to the country, but it's like, yeah, but who are they going to pass that cost over to?
Who are they going to charge? Yeah.
Because
Classic
what-
Trump supporters not thinking.
obviously this started, Kamala wasn't running, it was someone else, someone who is still president, and that's Joe Biden. But obviously
Sleepy
Obama.
Joe.
Sleepy Joe. That's
Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe versus Reefer Joe. But he did really bad. Obviously, I'm not saying his presidency was bad. I'm saying certain things are clearly awful that he's doing, but other things, he was pro-union. He got lots of pay rises, but the economy isn't doing very well in the world. I think we noticed that in Britain. But it's not doing well in America. But America is doing the best in a bad situation. America is doing like better than all other countries have
For
done.
now.
Yeah, for now. Clearly, when Trump gets in, things might change. Maybe he'll do better, but it's unlikely. Considering his last term, he had one challenge really to face, and that was COVID. And obviously, he did a very bad job. But yeah, people weren't happy with Joe Biden. Kamala was the perfect chance to be like, I'm a new candidate, this is what I'm standing on.
Here's a fresh
But she-
slate. Yeah.
I mean,
He didn't do any.
she didn't separate herself from him. She's like, oh, I agree with everything he's done, but I'd do better than him. But I'm not, everything he's done is perfect, but I'll do better. But vote for me because I'm not Joe Biden. But if you like Joe Biden, I'll do the exact same things that he's doing. It was a very
It's a bit like when was it like in the UK election where Rishi Sunak was like trying to critique the Labour Party for like what they've done. But it's like you're the ones who've been in power for 13 years. How could they've had effect on anything?
Yeah.
But then you also got
Keir Starmer being awful, just to watch. If he just stayed quiet, if he was quiet, and people would be like, "Why is he not speaking during these debates?" People would like it.
So difficult.
I saw the statistics of like people who were interviewed and asked who they'd vote for, and it's like before the election in like May or whenever they started doing like the interviews, you saw like Labour was the highest, and then as soon as the interview started, it just shot down to exactly where Conservatives were.
Yeah, it was awful to watch.
Confidence was just lost.
The only fun thing I did was the drinking games, where I got really, really drunk.
You got ridiculously drunk.
Well, yeah, for me, but I was, as cohesive a person as ever. I imagine other people, other weaker men, would have died.
What was the game? Just getting drunk?
During the debates, I had a bingo sheet. The drinking game was drink. No, I had a bingo sheet with talking points I thought they'd do. So I knew, because I watched, as much as I hate him, I did keep an eye on Keir Starmer. So I knew his talking points. I knew he'd bring up his mum that worked for the NHS. I knew he'd talk about his dad was a toolmaker. And I also knew Rishi Sunak would be like, well, we're gonna he'd say something out of touch. I knew that Keir Starmer would say change. The problem was I didn't expect they'd say all the talking points over and over and over and over and over. So I drank a considerable amount every single time they did a debate. And it was fun until it was felt, like, guys, slow down. Guys, let the interviewer speak. They were so awful to watch, and everyone could tell. And now we're just talking about the UK election. That's fine, because
so the point I was trying to make was sorry, but like, because there's an old Patton Oswalt bitch that was like a bunch of elections ago, where he's saying that like Americans are quite reflexive with like how they vote. So like one election they'll go look at a normal like standard like fair enough option, and they'll go wild with like an outsider. And they're quite reliable at that. So they'll go Barack Obama, Trump, Bush, Hillary. No, was it Biden?
Yeah.
Back to Trump again. It's which like is more admirable than what we do, which is 13 years of like Tories, and just being like, well, I guess we'll suffer through this and hope they stop.
I mean, it's hard to look at where the country's been and look at the older generation and think, why did you think this was
why
good?
Did you keep going?
Yeah, it's clearly for bad. And obviously we've had like 50 different prime ministers in our lifetime, and this one is the first one that we're like conscious of that is Labour, because we were alive during the old Labour government, but we didn't notice it. I think I only started noticing stuff once David Cameron was in. The only thought I had when David Cameron was in, because I was still quite young, I saw him legalise gay marriage. I was like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice thing. He must be a nice guy. And I was like, oh wait, no, he's the reason the country sucks because of austerity, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. But now we've got austerity in a red political party. But I mean, with the Trump
woke austerity,
with Trump and the UK and all the other places that had elections, there were so many elections this year. Apparently, all of them so far, and it's nearly the end of the year, or at least most of them. But I'm going to say all of them because that's what I've heard. All of them have seen vote share being lost from the incumbent parties and leaders. No one is happy in the world, and they're all voting for an alternative, whether the alternative's on the left, quote unquote, in this country, or on the right, in America, even though they're both in the right heads of this country.
Everything's kind of looking for change.
Yeah, and they're not finding it. They're not going to find any easy fixes, but because either they don't want a real change. Not like what you need to do to fix some of this stuff is a real shake-up. But it is just
like Nigel Farage.
that's what I wanted to bring up. Apparently, he's the most popular politician right now.
It's unfortunate, but it is true.
Because his fans like him so much that everyone saying they hate him is overshadowed by everyone saying they hate Kirsten.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the American election, I'm a firm believer of, like, you know, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah,
But, you know,
it is bound to happen again. It's just...
like, people are like, oh, how could this happen again? It's like, well, you didn't solve the problem for, like, the people who voted for Trump the first time. You didn't figure out why they were voting for him.
Notice that he didn't fix anything either, but they wouldn't, because most people don't pay attention to politics, and when they do, they just blame whoever's in charge.
Personality.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the personality.
No one likes the Republican Party. I mean, that's not true. Lots of people do, but like, if you're thinking about most voters, they are voting for Trump. They don't feel.
Yeah, they don't care about
anyone's talking to them. I mean, Bernie's the closest they've gotten to like understanding a more realistic populist message. But yeah, I mean, it's rare to see, like, no one cared about the election in this country, and outside of the UK, no one cared. But everyone cares about the US election. It's basically they're so important that it changes the whole world.
The rest of the
like,
world.
Climate changes pretty much. Yeah,
now.
we're not fixing. We're not that we're fixing anything anyway. But there's no chance of it. There's zero chance of it. The economy.
If America sneezes, Europe catches a cold. Is a thing I've heard.
That's deep.
That is deep.
The thing is that, like, you know, the kind of like stereotypical American. It is just quintessentially Trump at a certain level. Like, the most just fake smile kind of standard wave.
Oh, where's the fake smile?
It's not so. It's not in the literal sense of, oh, every American is like Trump. It's just like the whole kind of speak loud and be obnoxious and this is the most of anything that this has ever done, and everything is the most of the most thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's
this
on
is
saying
of all time.
That's what I was getting at. Is that
that's the point?
everything? Well,
he's a good entertainer.
He is funny. He is funny, but he's gotten worse at that. He doesn't speak. He doesn't make sense. I mean, he's never made sense, but more these days, he goes on these weird tangents about, like, the late great Hannibal Lecter. They talk about that for like 10 minutes. There was the time that he went and.
Did you watch his Joe Rogan podcast?
No, of course I didn't. Why would I do that? I don't hate myself that much. And then there was that speech he did.
He talks about the Lincoln bed for fucking 30 minutes. Even Joe Rogan was like, "This is boring the shit out of me." He just rather it's gonna take forever.
And they did that. He did that speech where it was really hot and 2 people fainted, and after the second person fainted, he's like, "No, I'm gonna stop the speech." And then he just played Ave Maria and danced on stage for 40 minutes. Like, he does that.
What a hero!
Just because Joe Biden's like really old, obviously really old, it doesn't let him off the hook for being equally as old and diminished.
There's the John Mulaney bit about how Trump is like a poor person's idea of a rich person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just got your name on everything, big car, big suit.
So what are we rating the US election out of 5?
0.
10 out of 10.
0. I'll give it a 0.
No,
for both sides.
Yeah, nobody won.
I'd give it a
except
2
Trump.
star.
Explain.
2.
not the end of the world, unless
No,
it
well, that's
is.
why-
Which it will be the end of the
I
world.
think it is the end. It's the end. You know, they're going to get the rights stripped away. It's going to be like if they do the mass deportations on day one without due process. Or if they do due process, where are they going to send them? Well, they're not sending them to prison. Maybe they have to build prisons for them. Not great.
Yeah, I think we should figure out what the metric for which we're actually rating the news, because it's always a complication.
No, I think it's funny that we don't know.
Yeah.
I think
I
the
rate
0
mine by how
out of 10
entertaining it is.
I
So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 for entertaining.
think what is
No, 'cause it
humorous.
wasn't even entertaining.
I think what
'cause
is
it was
humorous
just like,
is that there was literally an assassination attempt on one of the candidates, and that was so quickly forgotten.
Not
We didn't even talk about it.
actually, not entertaining, engaging. That's what I'm rating mine
Yeah,
on.
it also wasn't.
yeah, I wasn't really. I was just
That's why I gave it a 3.5.
2.
I should give it a 3.
You keep saying
My final answer is 3.
okay, 3 and 0,
0.
2 zeros.
3 for engagement.
Yeah, and 5 for the outcome.
And 5 for the outcome. Yeah. Speed on through the Joker 2.
Yep.
Hello, welcome. This is the Joker Folie Deux section. What do you boys think of it, Cameron?
Well, you watched it most recently.
Yeah.
I watched it when it came out. I watched it with Joe among us. And
Christian name.
there were lots of bad reviews about it when it came out, and I expected a confusing and bad film. And when I left the cinema, I didn't think it was good, but I was surprised. I thought it was better than I expected. But
Yeah.
since then, as it sat with me, I think it is still bad, but in an interesting way.
Yeah, I think because once we decided that we'd be talking about Joker 2, I said to Bryn, and I want to kind of say this before I get his opinion on the matter. I said I think he would have liked it more than either you or I.
Yeah,
did.
when I was watching it, I was thinking, I think Bryn could get down with this.
I don't think he. I said I don't think he'd like it as much as the first one. I don't think anyone would. But out of the three of us, I think Bryn, you'd be the one to enjoy it the most. How did you feel about the film?
I'm very confused about my feelings about this. Because on one hand, I'm like, I can't even say I respect it more than the first one, although I don't.
It's
I think
bold.
the first one's more rewatchable,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but there's sort of, it's such a clusterfuck. I think the cinematography is about a lot better.
Yeah.
And I think thematically it's a bit of a mess, but I do like the idea of the cartoon saying, "Oh, me and my shadow." It's him dealing with the shadow self. But then also, I think that all gets very fucking messy
Because it
very quickly.
becomes that there was no shadow self, which I don't know is entirely true.
That's a wit. Exactly. I'm like, because they keep talking about, because they're doing their mental illness plea based on, again, I'm not a lawyer, mental illness plea based on if he's got multiple personalities. And it's like, he's clearly mentally unwell even if this isn't another personality. Or he's clearly building up the persona. But no one ever argues any of that.
I would also just say, you don't have to say, again, I'm not a lawyer, if you've not ever said that you were a lawyer.
No one has
Again.
implied that you were.
I tend to hooks for the
Despite the
lawyers, for
accusations.
the lawyers' input.
Just in case I get libel, I'm not a lawyer.
I mean, let's just start with, it's a musical.
Yeah. Rip the
Yes.
band-aid off.
But it's not a musical, it's a jukebox musical. There are no songs in this that didn't already exist.
Yeah. does it use them very well.
I liked the one for Once I Have Somebody. I thought that was a good one. He sang it okay.
Yeah.
It was a nice scene. I didn't like that then it was all in his head. I got the gist it was all in his head. They don't have to show me that. I could also imagine him do that and the people in the room would be fine with it. He is, you know, they were all enjoying the performance.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
guards weren't like, stop singing or I'll shoot you. They'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And then
it gave the impression that people were just kind of dancing and singing in
It
this
fit.
place.
it fit the scene.
Yeah.
You know, he was feeling a bit of joy. He's not been feeling joy. And then there were other ones that fit. You know, him in the courtroom. That was out there, and there was a dance sequence and props and lighting. That I thought was good. But then there was just lots of really boring ones, like them sitting behind the glass,
specifically the ones. Yeah.
singing to each
The
other.
ones where they change scene to them being on stage, and it's like cool, but I was saying this to Bryn before. It really messes up the flow of the film, where a lot of the stuff, a fair amount of the stuff that happens with the general plot of the film, minus the musical.
Which there's
stuff.
not much plot either, really.
Yeah, I mean, I was a fan of the courthouse, the courtroom scenes, and specifically the part where he's found guilty, and then they do him escaping and all that stuff. Is like it adds a nice kind of pace to it. There are parts of this movie that kind of grab your attention, and then it just throws it away as soon as the musical parts start at some point. The pacing is just ruined at moments. But that's just a theory.
Yeah, I'd say the pacing wasn't
No, absolutely.
great on the whole, not even just the musical scenes.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I definitely felt I second the opinion of like, because I remembered, because I obviously heard all the stuff like the musical stuff, and then the first number he does where he's singing about he's found someone to love him. I love the song. I don't remember the name of it.
Once in My Life, Stevie Wonder.
Once in My Life, yeah, great song. I was like, okay, it's not well sung, but I can,
He's the joker.
I
He shouldn't
like
be a singer,
what it's going for.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be like.
Yeah, I was like, cool, okay, I can tolerate this. I'm sure I can. But then I got through the rest of it. I was like, okay, they all sound like the same song, even though they're all distinctively great songs.
Yeah, I'd say
my favorite one that is there's he does a cover of Daniel Johnston's who's a really interesting musician who was an autistic man who fully believed in true love will find you in the end, who made music, and like he started to get popular and he started believing like the devil was in control, and he was flying a helicopter and he almost killed his dad, and he like broke into a woman's house and he thought it was the devil, and then but it's I can't articulate how interesting the guy is, but like Matt Groening was a big fan of him, and it's like that's quite a beautiful song, even though it completely doesn't match with the timeline. I don't think. I'm glad I think that's a really interesting song to cover.
You think it's like a?
I'm not articulating how good how interesting Daniel Johnson is as a character, but yeah. But yeah, I think again, I'm a big fan of musicals, but it's clearly this was done by a man who doesn't like musicals, based on the fact he was saying, "Oh, this isn't really a musical. It's just people get emotional so much so that they start singing."
Yeah, which is what
so then that's a fucking musical.
I mean, I'm not a fan of musicals, but I'm open to them. They just need to be well done. This one wasn't well done, and it has. I think it was. I was watching a stage, like a recorded stage version of Heathers the musical when I was in Norway, because it was just on telly, and I was half asleep, and I just didn't want it to be. I wanted it to be off so I could go to bed, but my sibling was watching it, and then I came up with this sketch as I was watching it. It's about this guy and watching a musical, and it does the whole musical thing where they just keep, it feels like it's ramping up to an ending, and then they break into song, which delays the ending, and then you think it's going to end, and then it delays again because they're singing another song, and then finally something's happened. It looks like it's about to end, and they're all happy at the end. Oh no, now they're going to sing about them being happy. And as I was watching the film, I was thinking, oh my god, are they going to do another singing scene? Are they going to do another singing scene? Because it was just so... Okay, I get the point. Can we finish the film now? Okay, I get the point. Can we finish the film now? To the point where, obviously, amusingly, Joker, I guess we'll call Arthur Fleck.
Oh yeah.
They're on the stairs, and then she starts singing at him, and he's like, "No, I don't want to sing right now. Stop singing." I liked that bit, but it was really like, that's clearly like, oh yeah, we don't care about musicals. This is just something crazy to do. Like, it's triple the budget of the first film, and I don't know where
that sort of shows like the awareness of the director, because even in was it Pinocchio, which we both watched, Cameron?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember watching it with my mum, and she hates musicals, and they're about to do a second one quite close together in the beginning with Jiminy Cricket, and Pinocchio instantly slams the door in his face.
Yeah, that's
quite
funny.
Early on as he's about to sing a music number, and it's like, oh, that's aware. That's like, it knows when it should be doing a musical number.
But this one left it so long between some songs that you kind of forget, and then other times it's so close. Occasions. Like, okay, we just did one, and they didn't add much. So is this one going to add anything? No, not really. I'd say there were only two that I really liked, but I didn't. Reflecting on it, I don't like the Harley Quinn character at all, and not in she's not very likable. I just don't think she adds anything to the plot, really. Not that it isn't already exploring.
Yeah, it feels like it was put there for the sake of
people like Harley
the musical.
Quinn, so let's put her in the film. That's what we do with the Joker. He's nothing without Harley Quinn. Meanwhile, she was invented like the cartoon. There's decades of Joker without Harley.
Yeah, I mean, even in more like
well, even then,
stuff.
I think if he'd properly explored, Folie do delusion held by two people, like, that's a good idea of just like, if they'd fully just explored, because there is that thing of serial killers and women being fanatical and like sending love letters, and Manson and even Dharma, I think, had fan letters or something.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them had fan letters, even from women, even though it's like, even though they're fully aware these are men who fucking kill women.
Yeah, like,
and it's like, that's quite, yeah. And especially if Todd Phillips wanted to like explore like, oh, everyone's fallen in love with this Joker character I've made or directed.
Yeah, because obviously the thesis is,
and he wants to critique that.
You guys shouldn't like the Joker. I thought that was pretty clear. He's, you should understand him in the first film, but you shouldn't like him. But he's not even allowing. Oh, you should. Yeah, no, Joker's evil. Actually, he wasn't pushed too far.
Yeah.
He isn't to be glorified, and it's like, well, the first film sort of does, not intentionally, but it does glorify him to an extent. It doesn't do it fully, and that's where people get lost. But this one's like, no, you shouldn't have thought that. And then you have that long one shot where you can hear how goofy the Joker supporters are and how stupid they are. And it doesn't
knock.
But that is what they're exploring here, and it is interesting to have them do like a shared delusion thing. But it does this trope that I really hate because it's never well done. But she's like, she lies and manipulates him because she's trying to get something, and it just ruins anything they did previously. And it isn't even framed that she's delusional or she's like feeding into fantasies that aren't real. It feels like it's framed like it's intentional. She wanted to have his kid, and maybe she's let down by the real Joker, and there's a difference between what they project onto the Joker and what the Joker is. I keep calling him that because I don't want to call him Arthur.
No, of course.
But like the bit on the stairs where she just leaves him there and then he gets arrested and stuff, it just ruined any aspect of that character. And I had thought earlier, obviously it ends with another person who's a fanatic of the Joker character.
We're going into spoilers?
We spoiled it already.
But yeah, we're talking about the film.
Yeah. If they're at this point, they'll have watched.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and he kills him, and scars himself, and I thought, oh, well, that is interesting. However, the character isn't fleshed out. He's just like lingered on. I hate when they do this. When it's like, oh, keep an eye on this character.
It's like
he'll be important.
It's clear that they're trying to put focus on him because they do the shots of him.
Yeah,
recur.
He doesn't say
every,
anything before that. I don't think, or nothing big.
Well, it's Heath Ledger's. It's supposed to be Heath Ledger's.
Yeah,
Joker,
and
so
that
it's like...
I don't know to get on.
And the whole point is like he's ambiguous.
But I thought that was an interesting way of ending it. It's a good ending to the story. However, it's the fact that it's meant to be a different Joker. Oh, this is going to be whether it's Heath Ledger or not. This is the Joker. This is the real Joker, and this is just the guy that inspired him. Like that shouldn't be why you did that twist. It should be because the Joker is now bigger than Arthur. Like he's created this, and it doesn't need him to survive. If it's like, oh, this is because of theory, because people want him to fight Batman, but Batman's a child and he's really old, and he can't fight Batman if he's really old. That it's to satiate a fan theory, which is stupid and detracts from it. But if he was a character, if he was fleshed out, a bit like the guy that Arthur kisses, and then he gets killed, right? So it can't be him. But if he was like a recurring character that Arthur spoke to, then progressively as it went on, he felt more and more betrayed by Arthur not actually being the character we thought he was, and then he kills him. Why doesn't she kill him? Why doesn't she kill him and become the Joker? Is that too woke? Is that too woke for
Yeah, kind of a female Joker.
Well, because I knew was it Heath Ledger's Joker comes in, I thought it was going to be the guy who was dressed in the Joker makeup in the taxi.
Yeah, you kind of get that feeling. It's like, I mean, as you were saying, Cameron, the whole kind of the idea of the Joker has become bigger than what Arthur can control, and that point is kind of shown in that escape scene, where it's like there are people that are willing to do acts that are almost as bad as what he would have done in the first movie, just to save him, and it's like, does he want that? He didn't even want to be saved.
Archie scarred up everyone's favourite district attorney, Harvey Dent. How could they do that?
Who would have seen that coming?
Pointless. He doesn't even have half a face. I won't even have him in the film.
It would have been funny if it would have been.
It doesn't look Aaron Eckhart either.
Yeah, I don't think it's literally The Dark Knight.
It's not supposed to be a prequel.
Because they also show him get scarred up.
Well, that's the issue everyone was saying.
It's not an issue.
It would have been more funny, in my opinion, if they had Harvey Dent. They should do that, where they just like have a movie, like a Batman movie. Harvey Dent just stays as Harvey Dent the whole way through. It's like just nothing happens to him. It's like clearly something is supposed to happen, and he just like avoid. No, because like that's
Batman.
He's just being a district councillor.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, it's Harvey Dent. Oh, when's it gonna happen?
They do that. They do that in Batman. They do that in Tim Burton. He was meant to become something, but that was in future films. So you've been hoisted. You've been hoisted by your own petard.
Him stole my idea.
Can I make another point about the musical?
Yeah.
I think they should have, it's because it's both. Because at least with the first Joker, he was ripping off Scorsese films, which he loved, but he wasn't up to snuff to do it really. Which fair enough. Well, at least he was doing a genre he liked, a films he wanted to see. But this was like it's musicals, which he obviously didn't care about, and it's a courtroom drama, which he also wasn't made to do either.
It should have been a
He
comedy
seemed passionate about it, wasn't really engaging.
I think he'd have aced that.
Or if he literally just focused on, because she didn't seem fussed about musicals either. If it was like, oh, he's fallen in love with this woman, she loves musicals, he finds a love for musicals by just vicariously through falling in love. Maybe they're both at the asylum and they're trying to put on a musical, and he finds a second wind of like life, finding love with this woman and putting on a musical show, and he realizes there could be a point to life, and he could, whatever.
Or just sing.
That might have been more interesting.
Or sing prison.
Yeah, basically sing. Or Paddington
Oh yeah,
too.
it's Paddington too. But then I guess there's no real relevance to the musical bit.
Because she gets bored during the musical as well. She starts lighting fires.
Well, yeah, I guess, but it's because she's seen it like 50 times.
Oh, yeah.
Because she loves it, and she just wanted to be with Arthur Fleck, back on tour. But yeah, the two reasons I was excited for this film were Steve Coogan and Brendan Gleeson. They were both wasted.
They're good.
They're good in the film, but like they didn't do.
They're wasted.
No one talks about Catherine Keener. I was so shocked. She's great.
Who's that?
She's his lawyer. She's the one from Get Out, Joe.
Oh, yes,
I
Joe asked me
remember
if she was from Get Out.
She's amazing. She's also in Being John Malkovich and Kidding.
Yeah.
But it's another case of that's they're not really used.
I mean,
much.
she had a bit
No,
of a
exactly.
point where, she's trying the best for him, and then he gets rid of her because she doesn't know what's best, and then he doesn't he kiss her? That was awkward.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like I think he's trying to replicate the shock of the first Joker where he kisses the old woman, as he enters as Joker.
Yeah, that old woman. But yeah, Brendan Gleeson was too likable. Like, I get, and he's not likable towards the end, but he is like friendly with Arthur, which you don't expect. If it's Arkham, like the other ones were better characterized. But yeah, they should be like worse people, like blatantly worse people, not like talking behind the prisoners' backs. Ooh, he's a bit weird. Oh, you should kiss that guy because he's gay. Like, that's not how Arkham guards should really act. They should be much worse. But he's like friendly with them, and I get it's because like not all of Arkham is the criminally insane. It is also just apparently you can check yourself in, like Harley does. But he was too friendly, and so the bit where he's like really aggressive with them, it's justified within the plot, but it isn't characterized in him that he'd partake in the act that happens to Arthur off screen.
Oh, also, because I think we argued about this because the first thing I heard about this was all the mates on my film course said, "Oh, this new Joker's film's rubbish. He gets raped and now he's no longer the Joker."
Yeah, because you that's one of the questions you asked me when we
Which he definitely is. He definitely does do it. That's definitely implied. I can see how there's ambiguity, but that's definitely what.
He's not.
In my opinion.
I think he's.
So they drag him away, and he's got his pants
I'm almost
down.
certain
They beat him.
That's the implication.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, we're not covering
Yeah,
that. We're
definitely.
not covering that this episode.
I thought it was just like, oh, he's just getting the shit kicked out.
Yeah,
No,
well,
because
no,
he gets the
you
shit
see
kicked
that
out of him in Joker 1 all
and
the
then they cut
time.
away, and then he's
This
like
is
sad.
yeah, because he's never been that scarred. He's been beaten up a bunch,
Oh, no, he has been abused as a child.
and that. Yeah,
But
obviously.
that's in the first movie.
But I mean, like,
That's
in
the
Joker 1.
Tyree Henry bit.
Half of the people in Atlanta are in the Joker movie.
Joker universe.
I know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
Boy
what's it?
exists.
And every time, like, the other reason why it was so repetitive was like every time they brought a witness to the stand who was like from the first film, it was almost always the same story. It was like, yeah, he seemed a bit nice, he seemed a bit weird, then he did all this, and now I'm a bit sad.
But yeah, like the Zazie Beetz. She like I get what they sort of fleshed out her reasoning and give her a bit of like, oh, I had to come here because I didn't want to come here, but blah 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 blah. But I think the only bit I actively liked, and it was like I was partially just surprised that it took the turn it took, even though I was expecting it, and I don't know if it was clever or just funny or just weird or all three, But it's when he's representing himself and he's doing all the weird voices. He does like Southern and then just British. Me and Joe in the cinema couldn't handle that. But I think that's the bit where at least it was its own thing, and then it was followed or preceded, or both. I think that was the bit where there were two next to each other, by like really creative musical scenes that have clear purpose in the film and relate to what's happening in the plot. But that like 5 minutes doesn't justify the rest of the film, and it doesn't do much. It is just more interesting to watch than the sappy, not even sappy, the boring romance.
Yeah.
There's just nothing to get your teeth into, because like they're obviously subverting, because in the trailer there's Steve Coogan. You think it's going to be another
He's gonna be
F. Murray Abrams,
scared.
no, Robert De Niro type villain, and you think he's going to have a big yell at him for like media representation or whatever, and then you obviously subvert that because he's only on one scene, and then you think he's going to have a big shout at the courtroom, and he doesn't do that. But then you sort of like, I need him to say something. Well, I guess he does say something. He says like, "Oh yeah, I'm not a Joker. I just made it all up," which I took to be like, "Oh, he just wanted the death penalty because he was like, this is fucking bullshit. I can't be arsed with this shit."
I think they should have, because they always talk about the TV movie. Oh, everyone loved the TV movie. Oh, the TV movie was so cheap.
Oh yeah, why
didn't they show a single frame? That sounds so fun. It sounds so funny to do. You can have
that would have been fucking perfect.
I said to Joe, have Willem Dafoe as the Joker in the TV movie, and then have it like if everyone, you can't just show don't tell us, show us like how he's represented, and then you could sort of parody the first film, because that's clearly what they want to do. They want to say, well, the first film you didn't understand that, so this is what we think you saw in the film. But they just don't. They just talk about it. I was expecting them to cut a TV in or something, but
they do that perfectly in Barrow.
Yeah, but I haven't watched that yet.
But no, fair enough. But it's like but yeah, it's yeah. The whole time I was like, that would be so fucking. That would be something to actually get annoyed about. That would be slightly different, like from the Murray Show or whatever. And also like, give him something. Understand what like the effect they had on the outer world.
And then they should have gotten. Yeah. They should have gotten Al Pacino to be De Niro's character.
You're writing a better Joker too.
Well, not even better, just more interesting. They could have just had so much fun with it, because the plot itself is really, there's like 3 locations in the whole film, and there's like a few characters. Just add stuff to make it more engaging. There's
no real justification for there being a second Joker.
It's not boring necessarily on the first watch. It drags a bit and it's a bit confusing, but at least it's all new. But I didn't end up rewatching this. No. I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
I wouldn't want to. Absolutely not.
Like, I'll rewatch the first Joker film probably a couple more times. Not actively, but if it's on, I'll watch it. I'll sit down and watch it. But this one I wouldn't. I'd be like, is there anything better on? And I'd know the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I think the cinematography is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely improved from the first.
I don't even think it was bad in the first one, but this one has more of a scope to it. No. But I think it needs the cinematography, because otherwise it's just so flat.
Yeah. I was going to say, because Bryn said it as well, the idea of like a Joker that sings and doesn't necessarily sound good doing it, it's not an uninteresting idea. I don't think it is the best way to go about doing a sequel, but the Joker is a characteristically camp character, and the idea of him doing musical numbers, it fits within. Maybe not this version of the Joker, but you could imagine saying the Joker musical is more realistic than saying like, oh, the Batman musical or literally any other comic character.
Yeah, or just like if we did my idea of him like doing a musical show at the Arkham for like, the entire film, and then she's slowly building up. She's been the first supportive voice, even if he's like bad at singing. She's going like, it's okay if you're not hitting the chords. We can just work through it. Whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
And, it's like, and then at the end, there's a big fucking showstopper. And then they argue, and then maybe, I don't know, then he has a big song about the fucking, like, how shitty the movie is about his life. And how bad the representation, I don't know. Anything would be more fucking interesting.
There's a million better ways to make a sequel and a musical Joker film than what they ended up with.
Yeah.
Although Batman versus the Music Meister is a great musical episode of the Batman cartoon, in my opinion.
Okay. The music.
Very hot take.
I listen to that all the time. The Butch Harris. The Music Meister.
I don't know what that is.
No, me neither. But yes, if the music meister
Batman
were
versus
in
the
there,
Music Meister.
then sure, it'd be semi-relevant.
So what you rating out of 5 then, Bryn?
Probably 3.5.
Okay.
Actually, probably 3 after just talking through it.
I was gonna say mine was because my Letterboxd review right now is sitting at a 3, and
Actually, 2.5.
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like now it's a 2.5. 3 is way too high. It doesn't stand that high. It's punching half marks. It's not good.
I've not changed my letterbox one. I stick with it. I give it 2 out of 10 or 4. No, 4 out of 10, 2 out of 5.
Yeah, because it's like there's things that
It's enough. It's
There-
enough, but it's not
Yeah.
good. It's not average. It's not good. It's subpar. But not in a
Yeah.
boring. It's not boring. It's boring, but it's not like it's not unwatchable. It's just not a thing I'd ever watch again.
There's at least interesting ideas, which I respect a lot more than... Because it
Yeah.
at least portrays a portrait of Todd Phillips, the director, having complicated feelings about what he did with the first film.
Yeah,
Even though I think he's completely taken some of the wrong takeaways from the film.
it has a better
Yeah.
starting point than the first film. Even though the first film is better, because the story it told was quite obvious and done before. Whereas this one,
yeah,
it's
that is-
unique, but not in a compelling way.
Yeah,
Because at least Joker, even if I was like, oh, this is a unsophisticated look at mental illness, it's a subpar Martin Scorsese film, at least it was like, oh, a film you want to be making, types of film you want to see.
yeah,
And this, it was like, it felt like he was like, oh, okay, I've got an Oscar, I can get away with anything I can do in a superhero movie. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make this anti-hero of this film just get, instead of having a big shout out, a big gun shoot off, he's just gonna get depressed and tell everyone he's pathetic. Or,
Yeah.
he's just gonna get shanked in prison, and that's the ending.
yeah. It tries to
Fuck you, the audience.
differentiate itself from the first, but it doesn't do it in a way that's on the same level as the first one was.
Well, yeah, that's the ratings of the film.
Yeah, thank you for listening to this one and only reboot. I'm kidding.
One and only.
No, I'm
I
kidding.
need a bigger film. I need a bigger film.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Oh, you need
Hold
to
your
pick
yeah.
films.
show. You basically only have Disney Plus, don't you?
No, I have Netflix. I have Amazon. I have everything.
have
pretty
everything.
much. And if I need
Illegals?
TV, I
We're
can.
not
I can
watching
just
anything
buy it.
illegally, Bryn. We're ethical
Yes,
consumers.
you
No, 'cause
cannot.
we're
You
ethical
cannot
citizens.
admit to that.
But no, I'm doing Disney Plus anyway. I found a film. I just scrolled through films. And I thought, I'll throw a bone to Joe. I'll find something on his favourite streaming platform. He's a big Disney Plus fan. All he watches is
I
on
do
Disney
not.
Plus.
It's not
But I
true,
thought I'd branch
okay?
out from, just watching Disney films. I think I'd get one from the acquisition of Fox. So, actually, I don't know if... Yeah, it's a Fox film. It is, and before you ask, it is not the 60s version, Bryn. It's the 2000 film Bedazzled, starring Brendan Fraser. Directed by Harold Ramis.
We've already seen that, haven't we?
We've not watched it for the podcast.
Yeah, but you can
Oh,
have
fair
seen
enough.
a
And-
film. Or
Yeah, I've not watched it in
Oh,
because once
fair
again
enough.
this is 5
I,
years
for one,
ago,
haven't.
and Joe hasn't watched it.
I'm itching
Ah.
to see it. I'm actually itching right now. I'm itching my arm.
Can't believe
But
we're not
yes.
watching the good version.
Well, you can talk about that. You can bring that knowledge
I respect-
to
I was-
the
yeah.
discussion because I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
So our itinerary for next time is Cunt the Gangs, Cunt'll Fix It, The News, and Bedazzled, the 2002 version,
2000 version.
with Brendan. 2000 version, sorry, with Brendan Fraser
Yes, and Elizabeth Hurley from Austin Powers.
and ooh, me.
Yes. Now, in years past, we had a Q&A in this section, but I only received 2 questions. So I will ask both of
Those are
them.
next week.
I will ask both of them. They're just 2 quick questions. One is this for MNM? Question mark? Yes.
Yes, it is.
The second is mustard.
that was.
question
I know
mark.
who did that one.
And that, I have to say, no.
No, I've got a good answer for this one. Hold on.
We just say it out loud.
No, I've got a good thing I can say to this.
I'm more a ketchup guy. I'm more of a spicy, chili mayo guy. Mustard, I've had it. It's alright, but it's not my go-to.
Fellas acting bad, but somebody got to do it. Got my foot up on the gas. Somebody got to do it. Turn this TV off. 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 Turn this TV off.
You asking to end the
Turn this TV off. Turn this TV off.